Hi, this is Dennis Weiss for Eagle Communications in my favorite place for an Eisenhower update with my good friend and associate, Karl Weissenbach, who's the director here at the Eisenhower Presidential Library, Museum, and Boyhood Home.
Well, I couldn't say it any better. I'll see you later.
I tell you, that's good.
Wow.
How long has it been you and I sat here? You came in 2006 and was made director in 2008, and we've been doing these, I'm confident, since 2008, maybe a little bit before.
Might have been, yeah. But I think most of them have been since 2008 on a pretty regular basis. And I can just tell you that I really appreciate you doing this. I think it's gotten the library a lot of attention in the Abilene community, but wider community as well. And that's really great. It's really great for the organization. And I can only say on behalf of the staff, thank you. And it's meant sincerely, because you have made a difference. You have made a difference in how we can share Eisenhower's legacy. And it's a critical legacy, and people need to know about it, whether they are in Abilene, Kansas, or they can go to YouTube and watch a video about our programs here and so forth. You know, we've got great opportunities thanks to you and your efforts, and Elizabeth's efforts as well.
Such kind words. I appreciate that.
And they're meant too, not because this happens to be close to my final day here at the library, but it's because it's really heartfelt. And, you know, it's not only me saying that, it's also staff saying that. Yeah. And I'm reminded about a month or so ago, I was in a grocery store looking up for bread or whatever it was, and this kid said, "I've seen you on TV."
Yeah, isn't that something?
And I thought that was really, you know, sweet of that somebody out there is watching, even if it's a young fellow, right? And so I'm just appreciated for the institution.
Okay.
Right?
Well, you said something in that paragraph that's one of the reasons we're here, but only one of the reasons. You said you're close to your last day here. You are retiring from the Eisenhower Presidential Library.
Yes, I'm retiring on June the 3rd of this year. I didn't want to do it, to be honest with you. I wanted to stay on a couple of years more, but unfortunately, you know, I have health issues, and you know, I have to battle that and be successful. So unfortunately, rather than retiring in 2 or 3 years, I'm having to retire this year. So it's just one of those things.
One of those things happens in life, and
it does.
Not a lot of control over some of those things.
That's why you take one day at a time. Yeah.
We're so glad you're here today. You said so much that I want to respond to in that conversation. First of all, so grateful that you guys reached out to us, and we formed this little half-baked plan that had become a great plan in the first time that camera came on and you sat in that chair. And that is, I listened to you as we talked, and I said, this man has a passion for his organization, this man has a plan. And if I can quadruple plus the number of people that are exposed to this man with my camera, it will be great for our community. That was a brilliant idea, Karl, and that I lay that at your door and your staff's door to be able to say, let's reach out. And I remember we'd been doing this maybe a year, and you had taken some DVDs, what are those, to Washington, and you came back and you told me, you said, you know, staff there is nobody else is doing this at the NARA libraries. Nobody else is doing this in those days. And you know, that's been transformative for us as a company and us as a community. To have access into the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum is a big deal.
I think so too. I think that's one of the goals that we achieved here, working with you. And it's a great partnership, and I hope that continues in the future. You know, with directors here, hopefully they'll want to do the same thing, because it does matter. And
I agree with you.
And we're just you know, very, very appreciative. I mean, when I talk to staff, when they have staff supporting it, you know, it says a lot there as well, because you got the community within this building, right?
One other thing you said I need to say,
I'm sorry.
you mentioned Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is Elizabeth Weiss, my wife, and Elizabeth stood behind the camera in this room many times, and behind a camera in the public rooms of the library and museum, you know, hundreds of hours to to be able to make that public programming work. That was her passion and dedication to do that. I offered her a chance to come today. I said, what are you doing about 10:30 this morning? And I told her what we were doing. And her little eyes kind of looked a little funny. And she said, that would be very hard. She said, but unfortunately I can't come. I'm booked at the Great Plains Theater. It's got a bunch of kids coming in for Live Lit. And guess who's there with her at Live Lit? Pam Sanfilippo from the Eisenhower Presidential Library, working that community partnership.
Yeah, she's great. She's a great education specialist. You know, we're so elated that she chose to work here at the Presidential Library because she's really been top notch. She's easy to work with. She's very ambitious. She's here on Saturdays with Boy Scouts and so forth. But we just, you know, she fills that role perfectly, I think. So it's great. Great staff. Yeah, it's such an honor to work with great staff and great people like you and your lovely wife, and just so thankful. I say that all the time, but it's true. It's truly felt.
Karl, you know, we've had a lot of fun talking about Dwight David Eisenhower, and I look forward to being able to continue that with you. Just because you're not going to be here after June 3rd, you're still in Abilene. We'll still be able to talk about Eisenhower.
Yeah, I'll be. Well, the family's staying here. Well, Jessica and I will be here in Abilene. It's our hometown now, and you know, don't be surprised if you see me walking and so forth. It's good medicine.
Right.
And I just appreciate the support of the community, you know, for the last 8 years, and just ask the community to support the new director when he or she comes on. So, and hopefully that'll be done. They'll hire someone to fill that position, my position right now, sometime in the next few months or maybe up to a year or so. I don't know how, it depends on how long it takes.
It's government. It's going to take a while. I get to say that because I don't work for government. You can just nod. There you go. So I have a question for you about Abilene. We have had conversation on camera and off camera a lot about the value of the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum Boyhood Home to Abilene as a economic factor. 180,000 or so average probably over the modern era here since you've sat in the chair. People coming to see this library that drive through Abilene. Some stay a while, some don't. I have noticed, I walked into my wife's office the other day in the Great Plains Theater, and Samantha was there, as well as about 6 or 8 other community people who are interested in collaboration for the value of our community. They were talking about how to extract value from working together. You and I have always intuitively understood how powerful this place is. But I want you to have a chance to speak to our cameras as we look at you as an official spokesman of the library in the last few weeks of your reign here as a leader. How important do you believe that this place is to the community of Abilene, the surrounding area, and indeed the state of Kansas?
I think it's an engine. The library. My concern has been how do we make sure that the library is associated with other tourism possibilities here in the community? We created the district, if you will, the 5-star museum district, so that we would work with the other, like the train, you know, old Abilene,
Old Abilene town, the Greyhound Museum,
right, so that we could collectively work together in bringing people to the community. You know, if you look at the numbers, right, 3/4 of the people that come here are not from Abilene, right? They help the local community in terms of restaurants, for example, hotels and motels, well, motels, and it's critical. It's critical that we keep moving forward, right? Because it is a source of income, and I've always been committed to you know, working together. Yeah, the more we work together, the better off everybody in the community is. Yeah. It's not good for one entity to say, we're bigger and better than anybody else, or we do this and you should just come to our museum. I've always told the staff to tell visitors at the visitor center, right, while you're here, you need to go here. You need to do that. You know, we try to, you know, direct people in the right direction. We want people to stay here overnight, right? And we want other attractions here in town, you know, to do that also, you know, for the other opportunities here in town. And I think it's worked, yeah. For the most part, I think where we still have to work on is how to market to the community. I think we do a pretty good, you know, marketing job here, but it costs money,
Yes, it
and
does.
the federal government does not pay for it. You know, we use new media, if you will, to market the library, but I think collectively we can find ways to promote the community as a whole, the attractions and so forth. And I think we're better off when we have to give people a reason to come to Abilene, right? It can't just be the presidential library, although a lot of times it is. Yeah, we can do it in association with. Yeah, that's why we changed the stretch between Abilene and Truman as a presidential highway.
Right.
That's why we spend an inordinate amount of money to promote the library. It benefits everybody. But if we all, you know, work on marketing the city, the attractions, and the library, I think we can pull even more people, you know, with our quality programs. I probably went on a little bit.
No,
right
that
there.
was perfect. That's exactly what I hoped you would delve into. And now, every time I brag on you in the 8 years or 9 years we've been doing this, you always tell me the same thing. Well, I have a great staff, and they really do the work. So, but you can't say that for a while, because I get to talk about you, because I'm going to talk about leadership. I've said on camera with you dozens of times, leadership matters. Leadership starts everything. Leadership is the engine of any organization. You just said this place is an engine. Well, it's an engine, I agree with you, because of its physical size and its national name and value. But Karl, it's also an engine because you threw the coal in it, added the fire to make this thing go forward. And you did so in a way that you just described, that I want to restate, is you promoted collaborative efforts in our community that it hadn't been done in modern history. So the reason when I saw Sam, your communications director, sitting in that meeting, and I looked around the room and I hear my wife moderating that, I go, Karl Weissenbach started this process, and he started it with the Eisenhower Presidential Library by coming out of the palace and going, delivering the speech you just delivered here, you delivered it to anybody that would listen. And I think it's paying off in Abilene. I think I see a spirit of cooperation here that hasn't been here since I've been in the area. And I think people have gotten it, that if we work together, their $10 added to your $10,000 of marketing means it's $10,100 of marketing about Abilene.
Right.
And all of the things that are Abilene. I think people are starting to get it. But Karl, they couldn't be here today if you hadn't have started that process through your leadership. And so you don't get to just lay it off on the staff today. You're the one who started that, no different than Eisenhower made the decision on D-Day to go. Or I think the other history that's unique to Eisenhower in modern human history that I don't think anybody else would have made was the decision about displaced persons and rebuilding Europe. And we kind of had this conversation before the camera came on. Those two decisions, I don't think anybody but Dwight David Eisenhower was alive at that time in history that could and would made both of those. Well, in the history of Abilene, you will take away from here the decision to collaborate, to bring the power of Eisenhower out into the community. You own that. And your staff over there, and this guy recognizes that, wants to tell you right to your eyeballs that you own that. That's to your credit, and we're so happy that you exhibited the leadership necessary to make that happen.
Well, thank you very, very much. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. Yeah. But I really do believe that.
Hey, I knew it. Here comes the staff again.
No,
It is true. Go ahead. You can say it now.
I really think that the staff makes a difference. And I also think that, you know, if we work collaboratively, we will succeed. If we go back to a program where it's us against other, we'll compete against other attractions, it's not going to work. The community loses. So we got to stay moving in the right direction on that issue.
It is important that that you've had the staff you have had.
Great staff, you love them.
And they've done great things with you.
They keep me out of jail, I know that.
That's good, that's
and
good.
They keep me in my office. I have absolutely no complaints. I'm very sincere when I say that.
No active warrants against you or anything.
It's the amazing, the amount of great deeds that the staff does in finding, documents for our researchers and creating outstanding exhibits, greeting our, visitors, the way they greet our visitors and invite them to eat in town and do things here in town. What a great staff, and the staff, every one of the staff members, they're excited about being at work, I think. They may not be excited to see me some days, right? But I think they're wonderful, and I love them dearly. I mean, I know people say, oh, you can't say that. Oh, yeah, I can say that because I really mean it. What you see is what you get with me. And I think it's always been that way, because I do care about the staff, and because they have to make it happen. They have a tall order at times, and sometimes we don't have the staff for some of the things for our programs. They'll volunteer to work. I mean, obviously to get paid. I'm just thankful that I think the good Lord's been good to me, and it's going to be tough leaving the staff, but Abilene is a small community, and I hope to see former employees.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. So anyway, again, not to say anything else, but I can't say. I just want to say thank you again. God bless you.
When we have had Why Like Ike program, we film, and we normally film 3 or 4 at a time and then play them a month at a time. But it's been fun for me to watch your staff grow to become enthusiastic about being on this side of the camera. I think there was some trepidation about that process before it got started, and there were a little bit of nerves when we started it, but I think everybody's pretty loose and easy and ready to go now, and I think that is terrific. I think, again, you're the one that put your exposure at risk here when you first started this process. So again, that's leadership. But I think it's paying dividends. I think your staff is on camera. Now, we have one holdout that I'd like you to do something about before June 3rd. We have a person that ought to be on camera who has some really good ideas and a lot to say about communication in the world. And she's over there shaking her head right now, so I don't know. She's going to be a tough nut to crack. Look at her. She's going, please, Karl, you can't do that to me. We won't do that to her. Okay. She doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't have to be. But here's the deal. There's a lot of people in our community that have something to say about Eisenhower Presidential Library, about Abilene, about our collaboration. And long after June 3rd, I see you still in the community as a lighthouse saying collaboration works. There's lots of boards and lots of volunteer help that people need, and somebody that can set in a meeting and inspire collaboration will always be needed in Abilene. So I can tell you that I'll be looking forward to sitting next to you in another chair.
Oh, thank you.
And having this conversation about how we drive Abilene forward.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes. This is the first time you and I have sat here that we didn't have a list of 35 things that we could never get through about programs and things. So I have a little piece of paper here. It's a draft of your stepping out of the office. But you have a picture of Dwight David Eisenhower in front of you. And we're sitting in a place that I treasure the opportunity to sit in. Always have, been very transparent about that with Karl Weissenbach. Karl, you've been a great friend to the community. You've been a great friend to Eagle Communications. But to Dennis Weiss, you mean a lot.
Well, thank you.
I admire your leadership.
Vice versa.
I admire you as a person.
Vice versa.
Thank you, Karl. I appreciate the time to spend with you. Look forward to doing it again. Maybe not in the role, but I'll bet you that they'll loan us a chair anytime we want one here. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope so, anyway. I have talked to my communications person about that.
Yes, yes.
She'll make that happen.
Karl Weissenbach, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss.
We will see you down the road.
You will.
And
yeah.
Eagle Communications will be happy to continue promoting the value of the Eisenhower legacy here in Abilene, Kansas, and indeed to America. Folks, I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. This is Karl Weissenbach, my good friend, who's the director of the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum. We wish him well. We wish you well. We hope we can deliver content from here in the future that represents the power of Dwight David Eisenhower. You have a great day.